Every day, companies are firing thousands of employees for the reason of AI and automation. But is that the real reason, or is there something they're not telling us? Well, in today's video, we are going to explore some of the potential reasons why companies are firing people, and I'm going to give you some tried and true methods on how to make sure that you can remain financially stable, relevant, respected, and financially free during this time. And by the way, if you're into that, if you want to make sure that you're able to provide for your family, if you want to make sure you're keeping up with AI and technology, this is the time to hit like and hit subscribe so that you can stay plugged in. Guys, I'm bringing you fresh videos 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, and then on Sunday we rest, okay? With that said, let's get into the video. Now, I've been covering a bunch of these companies: Salesforce, Klarna, Accenture, Microsoft, Google, Meta. Guys, these companies are firing thousands, if not tens of thousands of employees. And it's always the same reason: AI and automation. But some experts say that's not the case. In fact, some of the people in the comments are saying that's not the case. I'm getting hundreds and hundreds of comments, guys, and you guys are awesome. You guys bring the receipts. Hundreds of comments as to different theories as to why that AI is not the reason. Well, it turns out that you are not alone. And I was reading an article earlier today in Business Insider where a university professor at Cambridge, Thomas Roulet, he says that AI is a smokescreen, that it is not the real reason for these layoffs. And we're gonna kind of break down some of his theories. I'm gonna give you my personal opinion, and then your job's to go in the comments and either agree with me or disagree with me. And if you bring receipts, if you bring some really good points, I will pin your comment. I will take down my newsletter link. I will pin your comment, because we're here to learn, boys. We're here to learn, and we're here to remain relevant, respected, and financially free. I don't know how else to say it, guys. The world is changing really quick, and our families, our wives, they need us to step up. They need us to step up, because the problems that you're solving now are not gonna be the problems you're solving in 2 years. It's gonna be very different. Okay, let's get into what Thomas says, okay? So Thomas says in his first point that AI efficiency gains have not fully materialized yet. So companies are basically firing people and speculating, okay? He says there is no proof that the efficiency gains are there. And I gotta say off the rip that I disagree with him. I disagree with him, because I've firsthand experienced it, and I know people that are using AI for efficiency and better results. And I'm gonna give you a few examples right now. So I recorded a video, I'll post a link to it here. A couple weeks ago, a friend of mine runs and manages a chain of auto mechanic shops. They're using AI in a lot of different ways to do proposals, to order parts, to do ordering comparisons between OEM and refurb parts. They're using AI for estimates. They're using AI as a phone answering system, as customer service. And if you watch that video, I'll give you the numbers, exactly how much money it's saving him and making him. Undisputable, is happening, is saving money. I think 30,000, 40,000 people have watched that video, hundreds of comments on that video. The proof is in the pudding, boys. But let's not stop there. A few days ago, I recorded a video about how AI is being used in fast food, using to expand drive-thrus. Speed up drive-thrus, working on scheduling, preparing and ordering food. It's all there. It's all there, guys. I actually spoke, I'll push the link to the video there. I spoke to a viewer just like you. A viewer's watching the channel, posted some good comments. I said, that sounds interesting, let's hop on a call. He shared exactly what he's doing with AI, and I posted it all there in that video. Receipts are there. And then even firsthand, guys, I've been in media production for the past about 5 years. I have a small agency that produces videos, edits videos and stuff like that. Guys, we're using AI in everything, from editing to copywriting to trimming to repurposing. AI is ubiquitous. In fact, I don't even really take on new clients for that work anymore, because everyone's just using AI. So you can't sit there and tell me that AI doesn't make things more efficient or more cost effective, because the proof is in the pudding. It's already happening, okay? So I have to disagree with Thomas on that point. Next, he says, he claims layoffs are a result of broader uncertainties like geopolitics, tariffs, financial instability. He said that these problems lead to hiring freezes and firings. And the reality is, for a lot of companies, the people within the organization are the largest expense. Most businesses are going to see their staff as about 60% of their expenses. And essentially what companies are able to do is, instead of saying, times are tough, or the tariffs are impacting our profit margins, instead of doing that, they're saying, well, we're just going to use AI and we're going to fire people. And I can see some validity to that point. You want to save face. You don't want to say, hey, this financially things are too unstable. We need to cut costs. We need to remain lean and mean. Yeah, I could see that. Saying that you're using AI to increase efficiency and we're on the next wave, that looks better. That said, I know a lot of business owners, they're not afraid of saying that tariffs are a problem for their business. They're not afraid to say, hey, we need to streamline. So while I kind of agree, I also see plenty of examples where companies are saying that the tariffs are too much, so we have to downsize. And maybe that's because they want to put pressure on the Trump administration and kind of blame Trump for their problems. And maybe people are not wanting to blame Trump for their problems because they want to stay in his good graces. That could be. Anyway, I think that's a somewhat compelling point, but I do see things on the other side of the foot as well. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that companies are saying it's AI in order to save face and they don't want to blame it on other problems? Put it in the comments. I will say that it is definitely a fact that companies do not want to admit to financial problems because it's like a leaky bucket that just gets the hole gets deeper and deeper and bigger, and then you can't stop the leak. So I could see that. Another way that he puts this is that executives frame the layoffs as future-proofing, but it's really just wishful thinking. They're just shooting for the moon. They're just wishing. And that what's happening as a result is that firms trim roles and slow their hiring without exactly knowing what AI is going to be able to do. It actually requires trial and error. And to this point, I say, dude, okay. This is nothing new. Companies always are trying to innovate. And to me, it makes perfect sense that you're going to set some goals, you're going to create constraints and restrictions, and you're going to see who rises to the top. You're going to try new things. So, while you might be right that it's just wishful thinking, yeah, that's exactly right. You're going to shoot for the moon. You're going to dream big. Now's the time to dream big. Now is the time to dream big, guys, because AI and AI agents are powerful. It's definitely a good time to be dreaming big and trying new things. And there's other examples too. I recorded this a little while ago, but Klarna fired a bunch of employees. They laid off something like 45% of their staff. And they outsourced all that work to these AI chatbots for customer service. What they found was that it was efficient, but the customer service chatbots, they lost some of the quality control. So as a result, they said, okay, we've created these problems, let's hire back. And listen, hiring is expensive, but if you're trying to trim out all the fat, implement a bunch of AI, and then clog your holes, I could see that as being a reasonable strategy. In fact, I think it's a very reasonable strategy because, again, people are very, very expensive. You are very, very expensive. And I'm not saying you're not valuable, but, at the end of the day, the CEOs of these companies, they're responsible to the shareholders, they're responsible to make sure that the business keeps running. I don't know how else to say it. You have to lay people off in order to keep the business running. And if you can replace people with AI, they're going to do it because it's going to make the company more profitable. They're going to be able to bring a better experience to their customers. They're going to generate more profit. All of that is going to happen. And again, you may disagree with that concept, but I think that that's what is going to happen. That is happening. He also states that he believes that companies should retrain workers over premature cuts. And okay, sure. But I posted a video just a few days ago. I'll post a link to it here. Guys, Accenture laid off thousands and thousands of employees, but they also retrained 550,000 employees. So saying that, well, these companies shouldn't fire people, they should just retrain them and upskill them. I mean, the companies are doing that. And in fact, one of the problems that companies are running into is that employees don't want to upskill. They don't want to learn new skills. They don't want to retrain. And in some cases, People are actually actively sabotaging the results of AI so they don't have to. By the way, do not do that. If the worst thing you can do is make yourself less valuable by sabotaging company and customer impacts, like you have an obligation, you have like a moral obligation to do the best job you can. That's my opinion. Now, one of the things that Thomas did not mention in his article, which I think is a good case that could be made for him, is that leveraging artificial intelligence and automation, it actually increases stock valuation. It increases the valuation of your company tremendously. Simply adding AI to your product marketing is like throwing gas on a fire, and it can 5x plus your company valuation. So some companies that may be looking to exit might say, you know what, if you're a startup, you're looking to exit, you might say, hold up, let's stop, let's slow down, let's use some AI and automation, and it'll get us a much better return on our investment. So he didn't necessarily mention that, but I think that's a good thing to say. Hey, we're firing people so we can lean up, we're gonna use AI and automation, or at least we're gonna say that we are to some extent, and it'll increase the amount of capital investment, Capex, etc., in our company. So all these I think are good points, not to mention that it boosts the ego. If you're a founder and you're saying, oh, I'm AI power, look at me. That's definitely a thing that happens there. So look, where are we at here? Guys, we are in the game hasn't even started when it comes to AI. We are in the first inning. It is going to get super, super crazy. And to his point, we need to be paying attention to the market. And that's kind of something that I'm looking at here, because some companies are going to win big. Some companies are going to win super big, and some companies are going to be going to zero. This reminds me a lot of the internet bubble. And I know some of you guys like to say that AI is fake and it's not real. It's always an Indian, like you guys like to say. I don't think that serves you, but I'm not going to cover that in too much detail here. What I will say is that some of the companies that are saying that they're using AI are not, or at least they're not doing it to any sort of positive effect. But that doesn't mean that artificial intelligence, the technology as a whole, is not real. It's like going back to the internet bubble and saying, okay, some of these companies are going to bust, so the internet is not real. Same thing here, guys. AI is real, it's effective. I've given you 3 or 4 different examples at the beginning of the video. It's incredibly impactful, okay? Some companies are going to bust. So it's a matter of choosing the winners. Who are the winning companies? What are the winning strategies? All right. And as I promised, guys, by the way, if you enjoyed the video, thanks for the like, the thumbs up, all that. Definitely sign up for my newsletter, AIupdate.ai. I'm covering the best stuff that's happening to the week, the stuff that you really need to know as a man to continue to provide for your family. So sign up for the newsletter. It's completely free, AIupdate.ai. AIupdate.ai. Okay, now, in closing here, there are a few things that I'm doing personally, and I think you should be considering in order to stay relevant, respected, and financially free, okay? The first of which is you gotta stay in the know. You gotta be participating. You gotta be learning, reading, listening to podcasts. You gotta stay, like, now is the time to be learning. And I know you're 45, you don't really feel like learning, you'd rather just play fantasy football. And I'm not saying you can't play fantasy football, but I'm saying that you cannot ignore what's happening in your industry and how AI is changing your industry. You must upskill. I'm upskilling, you should be upskilling. I don't think, in 2 years, I'm probably gonna be doing something very different than I'm doing right now. And I think we should all be thinking that way. What are the problems I'm solving now? What is the problem that I'm gonna be solving in 2 years? The faster you can figure out that answer, the better. Speak the language of your industry. Know the big softwares. Understand how they work. Know the companies that are really crushing it and how they're doing it. Study the competition, okay? Really important. Relationships matter. This is the next point. Relationships matter. The people you know, your network is your net worth, okay? Grow your network. Next time you get in the car, maybe instead of listening to a podcast or listening to music, call up someone you haven't talked to in a little while. Hey Jim, what are you doing? What are you focused on? What's working? What are you afraid of? How can I serve you? What are some connections I can make? The relationships matter a lot, guys. They matter a whole lot. Don't forget that. And then also don't forget that your brand equity matters. The way that you show up online matters a lot, When you're looking to get hired for a job or you're looking to pull a new customer contact, what do they see when they pull you up online? Do they see you like tripping out over politics? Do they see you complaining? Do they see you, like, what are you known as? Let me put it this way. If you were to Google your name now, what would show up and how do you feel about how you would show up? This is a big reason, guys, just between you and me, selfishly, this is a big reason why I'm recording these videos every day. A, it gives me an excuse to talk about AI and automation because that's all I talk about anyway. But B, I want when people Google me that they see me as a forward thinker. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that you need to be on YouTube 6 days a week, but I am saying that when people search for you online, that matters. What shows up matters. Guys, I appreciate you watching the video. I'm going a little bit long, so I'm gonna close it down here. If you like the video, definitely like it, hit subscribe, and check out yesterday's video. We talk about exactly what Klarna is doing when it comes to firing. The market is going nutso. Check out yesterday's video about Klarna firing 44,000 employees. Really crazy stuff. Check it out. I'll see you there, boys. All right, peace.